Hello? Darling, open the door! Hello, darling. It's so nice to finally meet you. What's the issue, darling? You look like you've seen a ghost. Who am I? Honestly, I feel a bit offended, darling. I'm your Yandere stalker, of course. I've been stalking you and following you for years now because I love you so much that I can't stand being far from you. And don't pretend you don't know me. You've seen me lots of times before. You've seen me hiding among the bushes or taking pics of you through your window. You even smiled at me at that amusement park when I was watching you from behind those comically large cups. So don't pretend like you're oblivious to this. You knew I was stalking you, and you liked it. I'm not real. Of course I am, darling. How could I have knocked on your door if I wasn't? No, you're not hallucinating. But if you still don't believe I'm real, you can come here and kiss me, just to see what happens. Okay, I'll explain myself. You're getting extremely pale and I'm starting to get concerned. I don't want you to die again. Well, we'll get to that. You and I need to have a long conversation. I have a lot of explaining to do. Do you mind if we go to your living room and sit down? When I'm done explaining, your whole world will be different. And I think it would be better if you were sitting down. Okay, I know what you've been thinking since you opened the door. How can I be here? I'm not real. I'm your imaginary stalker. You were so lonely for the last couple of years that you've been imagining that someone would be so completely, madly in love with you that they can't bear being far from you, and that constantly stalking you. For you, I'm not more than a product of your imagination. Kind of an imaginary friend, but for an adult, and arguably more messed up. I'm just something you came up with to make you feel less lonely. And I guess that finding the person you believe to be a product of your imagination, knocking on your door, can be quite disconcerting. But I can assure you that I'm as real as you are. Okay, bear with me, darling, because this is going to be a wild ride for you. Have you ever heard that the brain can't imagine new faces? Well, that at the same time is true and false. And here is where things start to get weird, so buckle up. You see, human brains can't generate faces that don't exist. That's true. But that doesn't mean you can only imagine people with faces you've seen before. No. Brains are an organ way more complex than you can imagine. Whenever you imagine someone, you are imagining someone that exists, even if you've never seen that person. I know, darling, that probably doesn't make sense for you, so I'll give you an example. All those characters you've invented for your stories when you were younger, those knights, witches, princesses, and detectives, you didn't actually create them. You just knowingly learned about them. They do exist, but in another universe, and our brains have the capacity to subconsciously perceive those universes. Yes, universes. What we call imagination is just our brain connecting with one of the infinite universes that exists. Each and every person you've ever imagined exists in one or more universes. That also applies to me. Exactly, I come from another universe. People in yours are still very far from proving the existence of parallel universes, but mine is more advanced, and that's how I managed to come here. My universe is honestly quite similar to yours. Obviously, I'm a regular human, as you can see. We also have our own Earth, which geographically is the same as yours, and I'm speaking English. So, it should be obvious that our languages are the same too. There are small variations, like, for example, in my universes, hedgehogs are one of the most popular pets, but they are pretty much the same. Why did I come here? Well, to be with you, of course. You see, When you are, quote-unquote, imagining someone, you're not only perceiving their body, but also their personality. So I can assure you that I'm madly in love with you, as I was in your fantasies. And now I'm here with you. I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. I know you love me too, darling. After all, your brain connected with me because you both liked my body and personality, and especially my obsession over you. And I can promise that you'll never feel lonely again. How can I love you if I don't know you? Oh, but I do know you, darling. Or at least I know 99.998% of you. Are you ready for some more world-shaking information? Well, great! You see, some people have a version of themselves in several different universes. I, for example, have slightly different me's in 37 universes. Though I don't have a version in this universe. If I did, you would have met them before. You are in 124, which is an unusually high number, and one of your versions was in my universe. Them, or you, because you are all, in fact, the same person, with the love of my life. I was completely and utterly in love with you. You were the most beautiful, kind, and fascinating person I've ever met. I had never before felt something even close to what I felt for the version of you that lived in my universe. Yes, my darling, I said lived. Remember when I said about not wanting you to die again? You died, my love. You died a few months ago in my universe. Way sooner than you should have. You were the same age as you are in this universe. And that was the worst day of my life. It was late at night. I was stalking you as usual, but in the darkness I took a wrong turn and lost you. I tried to find you again. I heard a noise and two men were shouting at each other. Then you screaming. Guided by the sound of your voice, I ran to you. But it was too late. I found you agonizing on the ground, bleeding from several different wounds, as those men ran away with your wallet. You took your last breath in my arms. A trickle of blood was running through your forehead as I held you. Crying as we both knew what was going to happen. With my thumb, I wiped the blood from your forehead and you smiled at me. It was the first time that you saw me. You didn't even know my name, and you knew that you were dying. But you still smiled at me. And less than a minute later, you were dead. Yes, I'm okay. Don't worry. But I definitely wasn't then. I had just witnessed the love of my life getting murdered. I became mad from grief, a grief that no one understood because we hadn't even talked before you died. That didn't change the fact that you were the love of my life and you were dead. I locked myself up in my home and spent days crying, constantly reliving your death time and time again. Desperate, I thought about finding you in whichever universes you might exist. You see, darling, in my universe, even though we've discovered how to travel to other universes, that knowledge is not public. Only some government and researchers know about it. I don't want to brag, but in my world, I'm one of the brightest scientists to ever exist. You see, darling, your partner, because we're absolutely dating now, is not only incredibly hot, but stupidly smart. I'm kidding. Except for the dating part, of course. Yeah, I'm getting to it. It's just so hard to not get distracted, having you here with me. Well, I'm not just a world-class scientist, but travel between universes is also an area of my expertise. So I made a plan. I spent months secretly using a supercomputer to analyze trillions of data, finding each version of you to locate the one who was the most similar to the person who had died in my arms, and that is you. You are identical in almost all aspects, not only physique and personality, but your hobbies, your friends, the books you read as a child. The only differences I managed to find was the name of your grandmother and the color of your phone case. No, darling. Of course they didn't let me do this. Interactions with another universe is strictly regulated, but I don't care. I had to be with you again. And then I discovered you had been fantasizing about me for years, and that was a sign I was looking for. Thanks to my knowledge of some materials I stole, I opened a way to your universe, and equipped it with some self-destruction mechanism so no one could come after me and take you away from me. To be even more sure that no one would come looking for me, I also faked my own death. It's not like a lot of people cared about me back home anyways, and that's how I ended up here with you. I know it's a whole lot of process, but I don't blame you. But now we're together, my darling. You don't have to fantasize about me stalking you anymore, because I'll always be right at your side. We were made for each other, darling. We won't be lonely anymore. Now, why don't you show me around, love? Your home is exactly like the one in my universe, but I never went inside. I've been trying really hard to stay calm and because I displayed this whole mess to you, but on the inside I'm jumping from excitement. Being able to finally call you my partner. Oh, my darling, for some time I thought it wouldn't be possible. I thought that I had lost you forever, but now we're finally together. Oh, I'll be living with you, of course. I don't have a home in your universe, my darling. Besides, I know that we are perfect for each other, so why waste time? I love you, and you love me, so there is no point in waiting before we start living together. I'm glad you agree with me. Of course, we'll still go on lots of dates. Lately, I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping because of how excited I would get imagining you and I on a date, strolling in the park, holding hands while eating. What's the thing you love so much here? Ice cream? I don't exactly understand how you can turn into cream, but I'm eager to try it. Money? Oh, don't worry, darling. Once I manage to forge a birth certificate on my qualifications, I'm pretty sure I'll manage to earn lots of money. I mean, I'm one of the best scientists from a universe which is more technologically advanced than yours. For me, quantum mechanics is just high school maths. Every university and company in the world would kill to have me. I'll win the, how do you call it, Nobel Prize? In less than 10 years from now. And I plan on using every cent to spoil my beloved darling. Of course I mean it. I literally traveled the universes for you. Do you think I'm not willing to indulge and spoil the love of my life? Hell, I would even kill anyone if you so much as asked. There isn't a sole thing I wouldn't do for you, my love. But enough yapping, as you would say. I'm dying to see your whole house from the inside, especially your bedroom.